Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. I'm excited to go into this conversation today because I've already told y'all who I have today. The favorite power pusher you have ever met, Miss Deya Patterson. Now, I met Deya in the morning meetup. The morning meetup, of course, y'all know I wake up every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to all these great and wonderful entrepreneurs, and Deya is one of them. Now, she's going to join us. Now, I want you just to buckle up, because the energy that you're about to witness is unseen, unheard of, and is unmatched, okay? Now, on top of that, she's got such crazy wisdom. I did a live with her a couple of weeks ago, maybe months ago, and she laid so much wisdom on us. So today's not going to be any different, right? So tune in, get your popcorn, your wine. Well, it's Monday. Get your lunch, and then enjoy the conversation. Here we go. Let's see. Is she here? All right.
Hey, girl.
How you doing, boo?
I am amazing. Better now that I'm here with you.
Aw, let's get into it. This lady here makes me feel so warm and fuzzy. I got a chance to meet you in person at the morning meetup.
Yes.
And you really, really dropped some gems last time we went live. So it was a random live, and I was like, you know what? I need to get her on here so she can literally get some wisdom out here and let us know what she's been up to over the last couple of months, so that we can kind of just tune in and get some of this power pushing energy. Okay?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, girl.
What was that?
I said thank you so much for having me, girl.
Absolutely. Go ahead, introduce yourself to the folks.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Deya Patterson, and I am your power pusher. I believe that we need to pray, pursue, and persist until something happens. I am obsessed with self-awareness and personal development because I believe that your success is in how much you know about you.
That's exactly what we are here for. We want all of it. All of it. Now, Deya, we usually on Wisdom Wednesday we talk about the transition. We talk about life transitions. We talk about career transitions, and all of that is wrapped up in self-awareness. Specifically for my journey, everything is pages and pages of journals and stuff like that. But for folks who don't know you and don't know your background, let us know a little bit about your career journey and how you developed this identity as a power pusher.
Oh my goodness. So I feel like overall in general, I have a master's in faith and keep going. I have a PhD in pivoting. I've just been out here, and I've just always been on a search throughout life. It's like there is this umption that there's more, and I've always been on a search, and I've just always kept going. And I really, honestly, I started the whole power push because I felt like there were people out there who were just like me. Like they were stuck over here, or I always say I was a statistic, and I was trying to get out of being a statistic, and I felt like there were others just like me. And so I decided to start encouraging them as I was encouraging myself. And just digging deeper into myself and finding more out about me, just letting, and if I got it, that means everybody got it. And so that's literally how the power push started. I just wanted to encourage somebody else who was just like me. They just didn't exactly know who they were, but they had a feeling that there was more to the story. And so you have to push past some of the obstacles, fatherlessness, let's push past that. Abuse, let's try to push past that. Abandonment, let's push past that. Rejection, low self-esteem, let's push past all this stuff, because somewhere in there's me, or whatever it is I'm feeling, it's there. I just have to push past it.
Absolutely. And when you say you were a statistic, right? You said you felt like you were a statistic, right? I resonate with that, but I want to know kind of what you mean by that.
Oh my goodness. So perfect question. I literally woke up one day. So I am a single mom of 2 sons, and yeah, 2 sons, right? But at some point while my sons were young, it just crossed my mind the word statistic. And so I looked it up to kind of see what it meant. And I saw that I met the requirements of it. And so I'm a single mom, raised by a single mom, in poverty, in the hood, without a father. You know, I had 2 sons, 2 baby dads. I did not graduate from high school. Like all these different things that say is like a prediction of your lifeline. And I have met like all the different requirements. I was just like, I'm a statistic. And so then it's like, well, I'm not going to stay here. How do I beat this?
Facts, 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 facts. Now, I resonate with that, right? But before you realize you're a statistic, what is life even like? So there's a lot of people out here, it's one, me being included, right? Before I knew I was a statistic in certain ways, we operate in a place where we're like not really knowing the backwards behavior that we're providing. So before you became a power pusher, what were some of the things that you believed in or the things that you partook in that really you had to change over time?
Man, everything. Every single thing. I had to actually do a lot of unlearning. I believe that we are all born with we're born with these things. Let's not forget we all came from generations of slavery and then hurt passed on down. And so there was so many different things. I had to change my mindset because I definitely probably had like the lowest amount of self-esteem that a person could have. And so I had to change my mindset. And then once I started changing my mindset, I started to change my behaviors. And then I started to kind of change like the things that kind of edified me. My palate changed, my appetite changed. So like literally I would say every aspect of me is like different. I'm a 180 of who I was. Like back, like literally, like not 360, because you know that's back in the same position.
Right.
No. I am about face. I'm like the other direction of like who I was. I literally had to change everything about me. Especially my thinking. I feel like that was like the biggest thing because I just had so many negative thoughts about myself, about my life. I can remember being in like kindergarten or first grade when they talk about the nuclear family. And they're like, yep, a family is a mom, a dad, some kids. And that's when it dawned on me like, wait, I don't have a dad. I don't think I knew before then. And that goes back to what you were saying. It's like, well, before you knew you were a statistic, you're just living. You're just like, oh. And as you start to get more information and like, you know, put it up against your life, you're like, wait. And I was like, I don't have a dad. And so instead of me being like, oh, okay, let me go with the program, I was undone. I was like, why don't I have a dad? Well, then who does have a dad? Oh, why don't I have what they have? You know, like on this, and I spent my life like that for a long time, just unhappy, unsatisfied, discontent. I was just sad and upset and depressed. And then so it went from that to myself. So now because I don't have a dad, now I'm not worth much. Now, you know, no, I don't got no dad, so I'm messed up. My family's broken. And it's just like, I had to change everything. Every single thing. Like, nope, these things don't exactly define me, but for the longest they really did.
Yeah. What was the first thing that you found that was an outlet for you to really explore something different? Like you're big on like self-development now. You're huge on self-awareness now. But like the moment you realize, okay, why don't I have a dad? What was the first part of your journey to learn you?
The first realizing that I didn't have a dad was huge because it opened up a door to identity. So now I'm just like, well, then who am I? I mean, I know this part of my family, but what if I'm just like him? What if I'm just like whatever? And so it literally kind of took me on a road of discovery now. And so I have all these other different things that happened in between time. I was abused, I was molested, I had all these different things, and they always kept me on a journey of, well, who am I? And I just literally just always stayed on the track of discovering more and more about myself, which is so crazy because usually, you know, there's this blame game of the world. But for me, it literally just took me down more of a like, who am I then? Like within what am I? And then
Yeah.
funny, we're having this conversation. We talked about this before about running into ourselves. So
Yes.
while I'm on this journey of like discovery, I began to find out more about myself. So first of all, that whole dad situation kind of didn't have anything to do with me. So it did not value or devalue me. Like
Right.
I'm still me. And then, with the abuse, it just made me think about, okay, the people that I was attracting, and then still back to me. So I'm really nice. I'm really passive. So I just need to be a little bit more assertive. It's just, I bumped into me, man.
You
I can
said that
sing.
last time. That's literally, listen, I was going back. Let me tell you what prompted me to invite you on the show today. Because I was going back through our content and I was looking at you expressing like how you learned like the things that are great about you. And we gotta get into like all the things that you found were your power. But you said I literally bumped into myself, and we jumped into that because I was like, "Yo, I've never heard it put that way." But like literally, when you find out one little nugget, you just start exploring, and you
Right.
just start finding out stuff about yourself that you're like, "Oh, that's in me,"
That's
or
me.
that's not in me.
And that's not in me. And so I love that. Before finding out who I was just like that, like children's book. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's like a duck. And they're like, "Are you my dad? Are you my family? Are you?" You like go around to all the animals
Yeah,
because it's trying to
yes.
identify. Like, well, what am I? Am I a goat? Am I a bird? Am I a duck? Am I
Or
a
dumb
cow?
something like that. Yeah.
Right. And so I was doing all these different crazy things throughout my life, trying to find identity. So I'm like, you listen, they smoking, I'm smoking. I'm just like, because that's what the cool kids doing, so I'm gonna do it. And it's like, yeah, I don't really like that. They drinking. Listen, let me see how much I can drink so I can feel comfortable like them or whatever. Not my thing. And I literally was like trying to find my identity in people.
Yeah.
And in the journey, I found out almost all the things that wasn't me. And then
Mm-hmm.
after finding out and after actually accepting, hey, I'm different and I must be different for a reason, then I started to unlock at the positives that were in me. Like the fact that I can sing. So always been able to sing. The craziest thing that, and while we're right here, if you are watching, listen, the craziest thing is that God was so mindful that all of the tools that are inside of you, they know they're there. Like your body knows it's there. Your instincts knows it's there. The only one who doesn't know it's there is you. So if you're tech savvy, you don't know you're tech savvy, but your mind does.
Right.
If you can sing, you don't know you can sing, but your voice does. It just
And it
does
wants
it.
to come out.
And it wants to come
Really,
out.
and
And it
the
won't let
crazy
you
about it is,
settle.
no. The thing about it is once you show a little glimpse of it, you seen this in the morning meetup. Like as soon as you show a glimpse of it, then everyone else can see the light and they want more. And they're like, oh shoot, you want more of the little thing that was inside of me that I never really thought was a thing.
Was a thing, right? It's like our bodies have everything that we need. So whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing to get to the destiny, to get to the purpose or to fulfill purpose, it's already inside of you, and your insides know that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Speaking of you're reminding me of the journey of like self-actualization, right? And when you say you bumped into yourself, I think that's really like beautiful because when I started, I'll say I don't even think I lived my childhood very much with blinders on. I lived in my own little world. Like I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. So really trying things out didn't start until my 20s, right? But when I became intentional about like reading personal development books, I think the first book, and I talk about this one all the time, is Presence. I became aware of myself, right? And just aware of how I showed up in the workplace. But as I started to really try to discover things about me, my relationship with people, like for example, I'm like, okay, Dad, you have these traits. One would be the way I'll say, anger, the way he expresses his anger, right? I was like curious to know, like, where does the relationship lie between the two of us? And then I learned through expressing like my emotions that there were some similar traits, but then I also learned that there are more self-awareness things that I could be
Mhm.
self-aware about, that I don't have to become the people in my family, right? So anger might be
Yeah.
one of them. My dad, and we talk about this all the time, so he wouldn't be surprised if he saw this live. But then there are other traits that we're talking about that you realize, oh no, that's not me. So for you, smoking, of course, wasn't you. But when you learn the things that exist in your family, one, what did you learn were those like generational things, those things that we think are hereditary, those things that we think we come by naturally? What were some of those things that you realized were a part of your family and that you were susceptible to, but you realized, oh, I got to make a pivot?
Man, so many things. So I am completely opposite of my immediate family. So I'm the one who's like in the corner and everybody's just like, you know what I mean? So immediately, and I think that's what kind of jump started this whole thing. Cause I'm like, why aren't I like everybody else? Like, why is it? And so I started to learn like a bunch of different things, a bunch of generational things. So my mom lost her mom when she was younger. And so it changed how she mothered, right? And then my mom also was going through a lot. She's a single mom of 4 kids. I grew up in church. And so I had all these different things that were kind of happening. I noticed that I thought about things differently. I feel like that was like one of the main things. And the way that I thought about things was just different. So I'm not a person that goes with the flow. And that's what I realized. Like everybody else goes with the flow. They don't ask no questions. We about to do it. It's about to happen. That's it. Keep it moving. And I'm questioning. I'm just like, but why? But why though?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we all going to the left? And they stop asking all them questions. And so that was a part of me that I hung on to, and that was a part of me that I realized, like, okay, I'm a little bit different, but maybe I'm different in a good way. Maybe I'm different in a way to change the world. Or maybe, it was once I was older, I said the buck stopped here. And so the thing, like the questions y'all not asking, I'm going to ask because they need to be asked. Like, why are we haven't seen success? Why is it? You know what I mean? And so I made a determination, and it wasn't even my family that started that. I started to see through my family, but it was through my children that I had to make a choice. Like, that's what made me say, okay, I'm going to intentionally move in this direction. So that's when I intentionally started going in an opposite direction, but I didn't do it until I had kids. Like, even though I saw it in my family and I saw that I was different, I always was on a search to be the same. I think that's the main thing. I was on a search I wanted to blend in. They talked about the chameleon this morning.
Yes.
Listen, I was on a search to be a chameleon because I felt like everybody else was. I stood out like a sore thumb, and it was aggravating to me. It's not that cool being different.
Not when you're young, right? You don't grow up like, oh, I'm a tulip. You like, right. Can I be a doggone sunflower, please?
Please. Everybody else is sunflower. I want to be a sunflower too. But it wasn't until my sons, my oldest son, rest in peace, that whole thing. He was really young and he was inquisitive just like me. And so he said something one day. He was probably like 5 years old. And he said something one day about how I was moving with these guys in my life. And I literally did it to trick them so they wouldn't notice. And he said it anyway. And I was like, oh my Lord, my sons are watching and they're really intelligent. So I have got to I have to get better specifically for them because they're smart and they're intelligent and they're watching. And so that's actually what it was. So my family, I noticed, but it was with my sons that I made a decision.
I have to ask, and feel free to pass, but I'm like, what was the behavior that your sons picked up on that you were doing intentionally that they were like, we see you, Mom?
Sis, I was just out here in these streets, just stopped biting my life away. I was just like, you know what? I was probably like 20. So I'm just like, what? You know what? I'm about to switch up the game. I'm not about to have no booty calls. You're not coming out here all times a night. I'm gonna have y'all come in the daytime. That was like my literal plan.
That was
I'm gonna have you come. Right. Come on, man. Come on. I'm gonna have y'all come during the day outside. The kids are playing. Nobody's paying attention. And so that's kind of had like, so to make sure that my kids didn't meet new people, whatever, and we still chilling. I still get a chance, you know what I'm saying? I'm just out here thought-botting in these streets trying to be smart.
But you found a savvy way to do it. And
right.
so I'm not a mom, but I'm imagining like, listen, we got needs, and so before you really have a mature way to go about it, you like, how do I figure this out? How do I have my cake and eat it too?
I sat down and thought it through. You hear me? I thought it through. I said, I just don't feel like no booty calls right now. My sons don't even really be asleep. I be thinking they sleep. I gotta wait till 3 a.m. I gotta be to work at 8. Survival mode, right?
Yeah. Listen. Carry the wine. He come over at 2 o'clock.
yeah.
I love that.
They're gonna be good in sleep then. I ain't feel like doing that, so I'm like, yo, y'all can come over in the day. And then one random day, it's still in the summertime. My son, I could picture it like it was yesterday. He was coming up from the basement or whatever. And he was just like, Mom, I don't exactly know what he said, but he was just like, I just noticed like different people, and they're like, it's like they're talking to you, and they're on our street like talking to you or something like that. And I was
you like, what? You can see me? You can see this? Like, I'm thinking I'm under the radar.
Immediately I said, you're intelligent. And that's the only thing. It wasn't like, oh, you think you so nada. It's like, OMG, you're intelligent enough that you collected data enough to get, like, it wasn't the first time. Like, he saw it a couple different times. He collected data, and then he put the situation together, and then he said it in a way that wasn't like condemning, or he's like, "Ma, you a hoe out here." He wouldn't do that like that. He was like, what's going on here? You know? And I was just like, oh my Lord, like, he's intelligent. What else has he seen that he didn't say? What else is he collecting data on? What else is he watching that I'm doing haphazardly? And I'm not an example. Like, that really was the thing in that moment. And it was that moment that I decided to go in the opposite direction. Like, okay, so I'm gonna go after my creative gifts. I'm gonna go after me. I'm gonna wholeheartedly go after myself.
Yes.
And I don't care about any of that stuff because my sons are watching. Like, that was the theme of my entire life. My sons are watching.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think in the vein of like going in an opposite direction, one, is beautiful that your son came to you and you even took heed to that, because you could have been like defensive, right? Or you could have made him feel crazy. So now he's like, I'm never going to approach another woman about like something I noticed, because like, they changed his whole schema, right? But really, you decided to take it a different direction. And one of the things that we talked about in our last conversation that we have in common was that we spent some time in corporate, and that we spent some time, not only did we both spend time in corporate, but we both spent time not in a good fit, just not exactly where we need to be. So as you're on this journey, right, you're taking the heat, you're being as self-aware as you can. You take a turn and you go into corporate. Now, is corporate also a deviation from like your family, or is that also a level of comfort? Like, is everybody else in corporate as well?
No,
or
that's
were
a deviation. It was everything was like a deviation. Like, oh, like, I'm like, nope, I'm about to have this prestigious job. I got to get dressed up every morning. I'm going from 9 to 5. You know, I was just very like, I'm like, what? No, okay. It's just like, girl, you need to calm down. You from Joseph Ave. Like, don't,
Right.
I'm from here. I'm not of here. Okay. Get it straight.
I got you.
Even a corporate job was like totally different, and having like a job where I could possibly move up and, you know, be in management and like all these different things. It was the opposite direction still.
I got you. So as you start developing, like, I'm sure the pusher is coming, but she don't know she there yet, right? You're in corporate and you're navigating. What was like one of the things that you remember in your journey, along your journey, right? That like spoke to you, like, okay, I have to push. I have to get through this situation, or whatever it was that led you to challenge whatever your circumstances were.
So good. I can remember one job. So I worked in finance for a long time, like forever. And at this one job, I wanted to make more money. I'm in this job and I see people coming up and I see people making money and I see opportunity for me to make money as well. And so I feel like that was the first time that I was fully determined on a job, like at a job. I was 100% determined. So I was 100% focused. I came in early. I left late. I learned things that they didn't tell me. I learned things that wasn't in my job description. Like I did every single thing it took, mainly because I just wanted to make money. It's like I saw an opportunity to actually be in a different position. So I'm already kind of deviating because I'm at this job already, but I see an opportunity to be. Do you know what I mean? Like not just to see, but to be. And I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to work towards that. And that was the first time I ever, first and last probably, I literally like worked. I was like. Right. After that, I was just like, listen, okay, don't nobody care about you on no job. I turned to that person, but that was the first time that I really like focused in, and I was like, I was making it happen. After I got out of that position, they hired probably like 3 people to do it.
And that's what lets you know, like, as soon as you get up out of here, they will replace you. But what I think that I'm starting to learn on this journey, I'm 3 years out of corporate, but what I realize is, it takes that first experience that you just went through to say like, okay, I got my eye on the prize. I'm in this job. I'm serious. I'm consistent. You're showing up. You're doing all the things, and you're like whatever that looks like. And I think it shapes us in a way that we need to be shaped, right? Like I feel like as much as when you go into entrepreneurship, that experience, even if it sucked, that thought process of I'm going to start this job and I'm going to do well at it and I'm going to try hard and I'm going to have a great work ethic. I think all of that is what's needed when you actually become an entrepreneur.
I believe that every now and again you have to show yourself proof that you can. And so if you don't have any proof, then your mind is protecting you. Because I'm pretty sure, you know, like your mind cannot tell a knife cut compared to a heartbreak. Like it has no idea. It's just trying to protect you. And so every now and again, you have to show yourself proof that you can. And so when you can hit a goal, especially like on the job, even whether it's big or small, where you can focus in and you can look back and show yourself proof, I feel like that's what you need. Like I can do that again. But I feel like any job is your internship to entrepreneurship. Like you can't just jump into entrepreneurship. Like who you are is who you are. Like I don't care what your gift set is. If you don't have the character to go with it, it's not gonna work. If you do not have, no matter what the setting is, like if you're lazy with a gift. Okay. If you're inconsistent with talents. Like, okay. Like whatever your job is your internship to entrepreneurship. You'll never work on your own if you can't work for somebody else. Period. You gotta get under to be over. All the time. All the time.
I put my own fire emojis in the chat, girl. I see all the hearts coming up on the side. I see all the hearts coming up. I was like, no, I need to put the fire emojis in here. Y'all need to drop some fire emojis for that one because literally, you got to get over to get under. Like, really?
You can't lead if you don't follow. If you can't follow this job where you have a guaranteed paycheck, what in the world make you think you about to make it work and you don't got no guarantees? Like, you at least need a practice station. And I feel like that's what the job is. Your job is your practice field so that you can get ready. And also, while you was talking, another thing that I don't think we do enough, like especially while we're in the job, is look at the back of it. So we only look at the front of it. So I only look at my goals and what I have to do as an employee. But I feel like in order to transition to entrepreneurship, you got to look at the back too. Like, what y'all doing back there? Oh, y'all making connections. Y'all having corporate meetings. Y'all making deals on a golf course. Oh, okay. Also, y'all linked up with other companies. Y'all bought another company. You know what I mean? It's like we don't look on the back end. We only look on the front end, and there's so much that you can learn from your job right now, whether you like it or not. Like, there's so much you can learn that's going to prepare you for where you're going.
Yes, I think so many of us get bogged down in the fact that they have a boss or they can't make the decisions yet. But I think there's so much value in honoring where you are. That if you honor where you are, you can see you can at least give yourself the mental capacity to think about what's on the back end. We get so focused on like what's right here. And I'm guilty of it. Guilty of like really getting bogged down and getting frustrated and like overwhelmed with the job, the demands of the job, and feeling like ain't nothing going my way, that I just kind of burst out and I did what I needed to do. But when you think about strategically, what's happening on the back end? Oh, they're making, you said, oh, they bought another company. Then you start thinking like a CEO before you actually quit.
Listen, your capacity. So sometimes I feel like we get information that our capacity can't hold yet. It doesn't mean don't get the information. Get the information, because at some point your capacity is gonna enlarge to where that fits and that makes sense. And so it's like we gotta be paying attention to everything. The job is a legit blueprint. Like,
yes. Well, see, and that's the thing. You say blueprint. But one thing that I've noticed, and I was talking to, I had a live with, it was Alex, and it was about like just the things that we have to develop in when we leave corporate into entrepreneurship. And then once you go from entrepreneur to CEO, it's kind of like going in between that structure and no structure. Somebody told me one of the pros and cons of being a corporate employee and going into entrepreneurship is the structure. You got so much structure that you want to have like these like structured meetings with people, and you want to make business deals in the office, and everybody's like, can you just chill out? But then but then while everybody around you who's never had a job before, they have no structure, you come in with the structure and you provide like a system and an organization around everything you're doing. So balancing that idea that we are creating, we essentially will create everything that we experience, but the information that we're taking in, we might not be applying it right now. You might not even apply it when you're a solo entrepreneur, but best believe you're going to apply it when you are CEO.
At some point.
Facts. I think you understanding your experience. This is what I liked about the last time we went live, because I feel like through your experience, you truly get it. And even if you didn't walk in my shoes, I think you're able to truly like resonate with what I experienced. Like, I didn't even tell you my story before I told you my story, and you started paraphrasing stuff that I hadn't even really shared. So I'm wondering, what's it like to work with you, right? For the clients out there who are like gravitating towards you and they're learning to be power pushers, what are some of the things that you pick up on in your journey now that you are out here fully fledged as a speaker? You have your podcast going on, you're starting to work with people, and you're really helping them to become better power pushers. What's like that that thing, right, that gravitates towards you, that makes you feel like, or makes your clients feel like I felt? It's like you really get it. You really are good at what you do, and I really see the transformation happening.
Honesty and transparency. I feel like that's the biggest thing. You'll always get honesty, and I'll always be transparent. And I feel like that's what people need. People need to know that you're not perfect and you've been where they are. And that's it. So because I have messed up so many different times, cool. You can mess up and you're good. And it's like, I'm just giving you superpowers. Honestly, I'm just enhancing the superpowers you already have. And that's what you can expect working with me. Honesty and transparency. So I always keep it 100. That's fear. I don't care how you call it. That's fear. Period. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, procrastination, it's still fear.
Facts.
Overthinking is still fear.
Yep.
Like not doing it, it's still fear. Getting too much information, doing a whole bunch of research and not executing, it's still fear. And so you'll always get true honesty, but I'll always see who you are. I feel like that's the thing. That's my superpower. I feel like I have been blessed to see who you are behind who you are. Yeah. Period. Because that's what I've always seen in myself. And that's just what I see for people. I see where you're going, and I can understand how you're thinking because I was thinking the same way. I always like to market myself as a regular person. I'm a regular person who just chose not to give up. And I always try to think things through. That's it. And that's all.
That's it, and that's all. I feel like she was walking. Has anybody in here started a podcast, started a business, started a coaching service, started anything, started a new project in the last 2021? In the last couple of months, in the last 12 months, have you started anything brand new? The answer needs to be yes. But the reason I asked specifically is because you're starting your podcast. And I think everything that you just went through, the over-researching, the procrastination, those things, they hit a lot of people before they start a new project. And you started your podcast. So through your journey, what was it that sparked your passion to start a podcast? And then what were some of the things that really you did push through to get to where you are today?
Man, I pushed through a lot of fear. It's just fear of hearing my own voice. I feel like that's like the ultimate biggest thing. And from a singer, okay? From a speaker, from somebody who hosts everybody's events, I still had to get past hearing my own voice and being okay not to critique it. I had to do that. And it's interesting. What made me even start it is the fact that I was already doing it. It just didn't have an identity. And so with being exposed to new information, I started to find, again, the same thing. It's so crazy. This is good. Ariel, you're doing good today. You're working today. You're helping me. Still on that same journey. So now that I found myself, what is this thing that I have? What is this thing that I'm doing when I'm pushing people? And so it just didn't have an identity, and I found an identity for it. And I already was doing a podcast. I was already speaking. I was already doing. I just needed a package to put it in. And that's kind of what made me start. And I had to push past the fear of hearing my own voice. I do not. Well, now I can go back and watch my lives. I take that back. Thank you, Lord. I can go back and watch my lives. I can go back to listen to things. But before I couldn't. I would critique it so much, I would almost take it down. Like I would just critique it so much. And so now, just getting past that fear and now embracing my voice, embracing my isms and schisms, my stutters, like whatever it is, embracing.
Yes. That's really good. You mentioned it's funny. I feel like knowing your journey, there's this motif of like you use your voice in one way, and then God be like, no, use your voice in this way. And then you be like, okay. And then you're using your voice in this way, get comfortable. And he's like, okay, now use your voice in this way.
Right.
and like it's like all these different ways. So speaker, podcaster, singer. You kind of like a prophesy. Like you really be prophesizing out here. Like you be speaking over people. I
just let the Lord use me. Well, I have to admit that really is a thing. So I don't know. So because I've always been on this journey of self, and I've always been on this journey of finding myself, there definitely became a point that God kept showing me that the same, like he was showing me like, nah, do this, nah, do that. And I kept trying to be in front. Like, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do that. And so I really did have to kind of release control and just let God do what he do. And so, yeah, and I appreciate, and I really am honored to like be a vessel to be able to see people. I think being able to see people is like a huge gift. because it gives everybody a warm hug. It lets them know you are appreciated. I see you. You are valuable. I don't care what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it's like an honor. And so I really do just let God use me, like whichever way. So if he said go left today, I'm ready to go left. Let me pause right here for a second. The problem is,
listen,
especially on this journey, is that a lot of us, we are control freaks. That's half the thing about being an entrepreneur, is that you are like such a control freak. And so, but you want all these different things to happen to you, want God to do all these different things. And so you have to be able to let go so that he can truly direct your path. He's trying to take you to greatness and you're trying to take yourself to goodness. Oh, that was good to me. That was good for me. He's trying to take you to big and you trying to take yourself to right here. And he like, and so you got to be able to literally let loose, like let your body go so that he can direct you. And so that's where I'm at right now. Period.
Yes.
Like, what you want me to do? Okay, I'm going to do it. What you want me to say? Okay, I'm going to say. Who you want me to call? I'm sorry. I know this may seem weird, but I had a dream and everything's going to be all right. That's me. That's what I be doing. You came across my mind and I know this is going to seem weird. That's always my first line. This may seem weird, but
listen, I'm moving. As long as you know you're moving with his word, and that's it. Before I went live with you, I was like, I'm so grateful that she let God use her. Like you always do. I literally was thinking that I was thinking that through the conversation we had. It feels like a warm hug, even a virtual warm hug, right? Well, we've only given each other one real hug, right?
Right.
But then, like, when I look at you in your life and you transparently, you mentioned your son, right? Like, you move in a way that you know what you're going through in a human perspective, right? And it's like, you know that's that. And then you also are allowing God to use you every single day, regardless of like what you're not regardless. It's like you're still on this process of like, exploring yourself in a new light. And you're still allowing him to use you. Like, even you coming on here and blessing us with some beautiful words as you're going through your own pushing journey, as you're healing yourself.
Yeah, healing out loud is what I call it. I'm going to heal out loud. I just, it's back to what you said, like, what can people expect from me? And it really is honesty. Like, I am injured. Like, losing my oldest son is the most unimaginable thing in the whole wide world. And I feel like I'm in pieces, but I'm in the right hands. Like, I feel like I'm in pieces, but I'm in God's hands. And he's just like, okay, all right, I gotcha. And so I'm just very committed through my life, through myself, to impacting the world. Like, there's so many people who are just like me, and my son did so amazing. He impacted the world, and honestly, that's what keeps me going. Right, to know that he did so good and people spoke so highly of him. That honestly is my grace that gives me strength to say, okay, well, I let God use me with him, and he still let me keep going. Let me keep going. There's something there.
Yeah. I was thinking about you, the motif of like you finding your voice, and you said healing out loud, right? And I think a lot of fear, right, when it comes to being yourself, is fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being looking stupid. Healing out loud is just it's a journey, right? That there are things that I've healed from, but then the things that I currently am working through, I'm like, oh Lord, I gotta do that too. So for you, I'm curious. It's kind of a two-part question. Because I'm curious if, and through like your process of finding your voice, if you do a lot of writing, or what your process is. But then as you find yourself healing out loud, is it like a freestyle of healing and you're like unapologetically healing out loud? Or do you have a process to like, okay, I think this, I'm going to say this. I think this, I'm going to say this. I'm going to write it, think it, say it. Like, do you have a process, or is it all like a freestyle?
So it's not necessarily a freestyle. So some things I do write down. Like if God gives me a thought or an agenda or something, I write it down. So because I power push on Wednesdays. And so this is perfect. And I just let him build upon it. And then on Wednesday I let it go. Like that's basically it. And then with everything else, I mean, again, I just decided to just go ahead and let God be God. And so I don't try to control anything. So I don't have this strategic something except for like my Power Push Wednesdays. So if there is something that hits me like on a Tuesday and I gotta let it out, I let it out. I'm trying to get into journaling, but I don't really journal much. I just kind of think it through and then I talk it out. I'll have a conversation. I'm that person who randomly calls people because it's in my mind. But as you're asking me, I feel like I should kind of start doing something. I know we had Maddie J. Like I should probably be documenting some type of process.
Man, I think about it. So I was thinking about him the other day, and you know that he's got the process all laid out. And I think about the healing process, and I think about self-actualization. I think about self-awareness, and I'm like, yo, that process there is literally. So I am a bit strategic, but there's a step-by-step process that we're taking ourselves through, even if it's not. We're not like, hey, I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
It definitely is like, oh, if that didn't happen, then that wouldn't have happened, and if that didn't happen, and it's just a buildup.
Right. I do try to be 100% like authentic, and so but I don't have just like I guess I am taking steps by steps, but I am very free spirited. That's a gift and a curse.
Right.
I am extremely free spirited. And so I just try to be authentic and present in every moment. That's honestly what I'm attempting to do. Just be present in every single moment. And so it's going to take some over strategy to even document my whole process because I try to be so present. I'm definitely that person who's going to post some pictures, but it's when I'm already back. Or I'm going to do something, but it's once it's already complete. Because in that moment, I'm just trying to be present. I've had so many bad times that I really want to be present in the good ones. Like, I really want to enjoy the good ones. And so that's what it is. So I'm going to have to figure something out.
Yeah, no, the power is in the reflection. Even if I don't write, I will audio journal. So I use the audio journal. I have a little recorder, like a voice recorder. But then I also will like journal on my phone. I will record myself talking to myself like, "Hey, girl, today was a trip." And so I like
that. I do that now all day. You tell me to write 6 words, sis. I can't even write 6 words. But you tell me to say them. I'm like, girl, okay, don't even play with me, girl. Today.
I would do that. Listen, can you imagine? Listen, when you go back to it, I was gonna say when you're 60, but shoot, when you're 50, you go back and you look and you say, "Listen to how I sound." You know what I mean? Like just as you grow. I think that's just I like the video because I'm like, I can't wait to see what I look like when I'm older. And I'm like, girl, you was bad, or girl, you was crazy, or whatever it is that I say. So yes, no, I'm really appreciative. 1, that you allow God to use you. 2, that you show up for yourself every day. Because I think you're not doing it because you do it for you. You impact a lot of us, right? And your son lives through all of us because of you, right? You continuously healing out loud, using your voice, all of that stuff has a impact. And I just want you to know that, like, you really touched me. And as I think it was like we said this right before we started singing, which I'm gonna post clips of like that whole like song session. But what I was saying, it was like when you jumped on live, your energy just gave me confidence to share other parts of myself, right? So even as I heal from past things, I'm constantly currently healing from things today. And what's the thing? You don't show the wound, you show the scar, right? So there have been times when after we got that live, I was like, okay, let me figure out how to heal from this, right? Because you brought it out of me. So I appreciate that. So today, before we get out of here, today is Wisdom Wednesday for us, but it's Power Push Wednesday for you. So before we get out of here, if you would share a little bit of the message that you shared this morning, and then also let us know how we can continue to follow you, continue to stay tuned in, that would be wonderful.
Oh my goodness. Firstly, thank you so much for just thinking of me constantly. I appreciate you. I appreciate your voice and your consistency. You're the most consistent person I know. So you're doing so amazing. Let me just say that to you. I saw you at the beginning of this and you're still going strong. A whole year. Are we at a year? Yes, you've been killing it. So
I just want to meet up in January. So we've been locked in.
Yeah, same thing. I started in January too, girl. Oh, girl.
We in there.
A whole year, we in here. Okay.
Yes.
This morning, my message was I loved it this morning. A lot of us are stuck in the middle, and that was the title of it. Stuck in the middle. Listen, in order for 2022 to be an amazing year, you've got to pick a side. There's no more shades of gray. There's no more being just being regular and being right there and being just happy with being right in the middle. We have got to choose a side. And so I talked about, actually, let me go to my notes real quick, okay? Because my notes are right here.
Today. Turn to your pages and your books to
Okay. Turn to Deya 3 and 3. Okay, here we go. Stuck in the middle. And so a couple different things, a couple different tips to get out of the middle section. You have got to push the needle. If you're not already betting on you, bet on you. What's the worst that can happen? You've already been broke. You've already been disgusted. You've already been abandoned. You've already been abused. You've already been rejected. Yo, push the needle. And also, you're going to pivot. It's time for us to start adjusting to what the heck is going on and then switch it up. Neo says it best. It's either going to work or it's going to work. But listen, if I got to go through, over, under, whatever I got to do is going to work. So we've got to learn how to pivot. And we've also have to learn how to reposition. Some of us, listen, we're just not positioned. We're on the right street. If you're thinking about podcasting, you're in entrepreneurship, you're about to lose your job, you're on the right street, but you're not in the right position. Yo, reposition so that you can go ahead and move forward. And the last step was to renew our mind. We take it for granted to take off the old stuff. There are a lot of us, if not all of us, we have survival mentality, and we need to let go of that and put on some thriving mentality. We've got to unlearn the things that helped us in survival mode. Yeah, you were hurt, and so you needed to survive. But right now, you're not hurting anymore. Now it's time to thrive. And so that is how you get from stuck in the middle. The difference between me and somebody else is the fact that I was in the middle, but I decided to go over to the next. Listen, today, make a decision to make a decision. Period. You either going to be black and stay there, or you going to be white and go forward, okay? I probably should change that around now I think about it. But listen, you're going to make a decision to make a decision. Don't be stuck in the middle. Not now, not ever. Listen, 2022 is going to be amazing because we started today to already kick it off. No more stuck in the middle. We're not complacent. We're not regular. We're not average. We are big and we are great. And we're going to make a decision to bank on ourselves, to pivot, to reposition, and to renew. Always. Push!
Push. Okay, now listen, Deya, I can't close out any other way than that. So all I need you to do is let us know how we can find you. What time do you do Power Push Wednesday, and how can they connect with you?
Oh, firstly, my son just got on. CJ, shouts out to my son.
Let's go.
I do my Power Push Wednesday every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Listen, I am your midweek motivation plug. If I know on Sundays we go to church and we feel all hyped up, then on Mondays we're like, Tuesdays, listen, we don't lost our steam. Wednesday, I am your midweek motivational plug to help you see you. So make sure you check me out on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel. Yes, on all platforms, I am Deya Patterson, Deya Patterson. Get at me. Let's push. Oh, can I announce this also? If you are in the Charleston Low Country area, I am having my Power Push podcast live recording.
Wait a minute now. You broke up for me. I don't know if she broke up for everybody. You said if you are in the
Low Country, listen, I was on a rampage just now. If you are in the Low Country area, Charleston, South Carolina, anywhere in that area, I'm talking about Charlotte, all of that. Come on through Sunday, January the 23rd, while I'll be doing my Power Push podcast live. There'll be live performances, some dope local vendors, and I have my podcast. So it's going to be amazing. I'm going to dedicate this event to my son. And so we're going to be talking about building that village again. And we're going to talk about parenting and, you know, just parenting from all these different perspectives, just to kind of shed more light on it and to encourage each other. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm so proud of the parent I was with my son. I'm so proud of the man he became. And so we just need, we need more support out there to where I know we're talking to the entrepreneurs. We're talking to those with the jobs. What about, listen, we need to talk to these parents out here and the kids to ensure a better future for them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Deya. I'm proud of you as well. Butter pecan, butter tan pecan.
Priscilla.
Yes.
Butter pecan tan. Come on now.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And your event sounds like it's going to be amazing. And it's not too far away from me. So, hey, if y'all are in Atlanta, you can still get there too, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I love you. Thank you so much for joining. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead to go to Deya. Click this little button right here. Go to her page. 1, follow her 2, and then go ahead and get your tickets so you can go ahead and see this live podcast. Because if you're trying to figure it out, go ahead and learn from somebody who's already doing it. Okay. Thank you first. Thank you again, Deya. But then I will see you in the morning.
In the morning.
Right.
Shout out to
Peace out, guys.
Ariana, I see you. That was my neighbor at the